Oh, man, what a week. What an absolute week. Incredible. Revealing. But as we always do here on a Friday with Big Sills. Big Sills! Absolutely, man. Welcome aboard. We appreciate everybody, as they always do. Come aboard with us here on this program from 2 to 6 Eastern Time. You guys have so many options out there, but you choose us. Many of you. Each and every single day come here, and we totally dig it. Man, I got to tell you, there's a lot of people that watch the program. And that's the majority of the NFL media and most notably the Philly media. If you tune on WIP, you would swear that those guys watch Big Sills and then regurgitate the same shit. I'm not saying I don't go to them because they have some pretty good people over there that cover that football team. See, the difference is, though, I recognize that. I don't have to. And by the way, I will tell you when something's not my content. I'm not afraid not to do that, Spike. You know? That's why you got your ass run out of New York. It's all right. Hey, at least I'm not afraid to go, hey, I got this topic from that afternoon psychiatrist that IP has. I don't really watch The Fanatic because it's unwatchable or unlistenable, I should say. 50 days out to training camp. 91 days until September 6th. It's funny, I say it here first, and there's a gigantic echo chamber in Philly. You know what I'm saying, senor. We say it here. It's like an echo chamber. How you doing? Okay? Echo chamber. There's no question. One of the big topics. Can I ask you something here before we get going? That number, 95%, I couldn't get away with it. And I couldn't put that 95% down, that the offense has changed. Can I ask you what version of Jalen Hurts you're going to get in 2024 with a brand new offense? Brand spanking new. What are you going to get? What are you expecting? Optimism? Okay, that's okay, and that's cool on June 7th. 95% of a brand new offense is being put in, which means the guy that you paid in 22 is so far removed from the equation any longer. I'm not sure what Jalen Hurts is going to look like this year. Are you? Yesterday, 95%, he said. 95%. It's all new. What are you expecting? But by the way, here on June 7th, I don't know. By the way, I see some people in here saying, as long as they win, they won last year. But they didn't win anything, really. They won 11 games. Okay, this close. And yet so far away. Big deal. Big deal. You have nothing to show for all this so far. Remember what I told you? In 2022, if you don't cash this roster in and what you have been doing the last couple years, I agree with Marcus Hayes. What's the point? What's the point? You're not cashing it in. I can't say about 24 right now on June 7th. You're 50 days to camp. We're here. We're here. Okay? We're going to be objective today. We're going to be objective. I'm going to give you my 3-day minicamp takeaway. Okay? Senor goes 31 teams do not cash in every year. Smart guy. Nobody's paying $175 million for an offense. Smart ass. Nobody. Shit, at least the Niners have been to 2 NFC title games in a row in the Super Bowl. What have you done? Implosion? And was 22 lucky? You haven't cashed anything in, and you're spending the most money. Hey, like he said, it's one thing to be the Carolina Panthers and not cash it in. Oh, by the way, Sue, Buffalo's not spending a ton of money like the Eagles are. They don't have any wide receivers on the team. You got two $50 million, $10 million running back. How much is that offensive line worth? 25, 15 or 30, 55, 10. You got about $85 million in your offensive line with money. $85 million in O-line, $50 million in wideouts, $15 million in a tight end, $50 million in a quarterback, and $10 million in a running back. What have you cashed in? What have you cashed in for that? Okay? That's right, Corey. Jalen Hurts wishes he was Josh Allen. Okay? He wishes he was Josh Allen or had that type of talent. No question about it. I mean, what version of Hurts are we going to get in 24? So get this, the money that you paid, I want to put this, in proper perspective too. By the way, I'm not talking about cap. I'm talking about the owner writing a paycheck for people. And are you getting your return on investment? Are you getting your return on investment? No. That where I will agree with Senor. Hey, that could be easy. That could be easy. Analytically speaking, newsflash, Howie, higher probability if winning the Super Bowl if you let Jalen play to his strengths. Making him start from ground zero. Doing this, he's not good at it, extremely low. Hey, dual threat. That's the take of the day already, and we're only into it a couple minutes. Thank you, Papa. I appreciate that. I'm not a Hurts fan, talent-wise, but did you see his face when asked to define Nick's role? New name for coach, Pinocchio Sirianni. He's a liar and clown. Papa Joe, I've been saying that for 3 years. Guy's not qualified to be a head football coach. He's just not qualified. Why do you think they hired a babysitter for him? So Big Dom doesn't get thrown off the sidelines. Crazy stuff went on this week. Jalen Hurts had a moment to embrace his coach. Now we're spending too much money. We should make players wait like Dallas, huh? Jesus criminy, guy. I mean, honestly, who wants to be compared to Dallas? I'm comparing you to the Chiefs and the Eagle and the Brady Patriots. Why would you ever in a million years compare yourself to Dallas? Act like a champion, guy, not the Cowboys. Who in the world wants to compare themselves to the biggest underachieving football team on the planet? Who would do that? Who? I don't compare myself to anything below average. That's below average. I mean, Dallas? I got my sights set on something higher than the Cowboys. Okay? So get this. Can I ask one more time the question I asked you yesterday? When given the opportunity to defend Nick Sirianni, why hasn't Hurts done it? Why? And here, I it's not really a main topic, But are you more concerned about Hurts and Nick, or Nick and Kellen, Kellen Moore? Nick, not a weird case. Why is he around? Prince, for the life of me, I'm not, I don't, hey, Prince, think about this. There's two things that come out of camp. Why is Nick Sirianni around? And why is James Bradbury around? Why are those two men around still? What is the point? What's going on? Do you think a coach who had any kind of autonomy over his roster and over his coaching staff would have Bradbury still on the roster? Or do you think any general manager that didn't have a gargantuan ego like Howie would have Nick around? The ego and not wanting, and the perception not wanting to look bad is more important to that organization than doing the right thing. Right? It's more important for them to look good than to be good. Who's comparing? That's not just of what I said. That must be the Miami education. How you doing? Marshall, we're boys. Love it. McCarthy's the best coach since Parcells? Yes. Yes. And true. Yes. As a matter of fact, DFW, I think Bill Parcells is highly one of the most overrated coaches in Hall of Fame history. I mean, Tom Coughlin did just as much, if not more. And Tom Coughlin was the offensive play calling head coach. What did Parcells do more than Coughlin? What did he do? What has Bill Parcells done that Tom Coughlin hasn't done? Name me. And Tom Coughlin didn't need Bill Belichick. Name me one thing. Name me one thing. Once again, JM, you're missing it. Between the two, what has Parcells done over Coughlin? 2 Super Bowls. Has a better winning percentage. Built a brand new franchise in the Jags into a playoff contender. And won those Super Bowls in New York. Parcells is overrated. I can name you 10, 15 coaches. Why? Because he was good behind the mic. And he was good to the media. And he gave the media a good show every time he got in front of the mic. Parcells is excellent at that. But as a total coach, he was a train wreck in Miami. And he took the job because his wife took half his money after a divorce. It's the only reason he went to football operations. The Jets thing was okay. Not spectacular. Patriots wasn't bad. But Belichick was there when he went to the Super Bowl. Okay? Hey, Sills, here's a different take. Philly's putting a system in place for all of the tools needs. If Hurts does not cut it, they will move on. Howie has several off-ramps in that contract. Well, that would be a colossal disaster for Roseman, because that would have meant that they missed on Wentz and then they missed on Hurts. It's one thing to miss on Wentz. It's another thing that you gave a second rounder $250 million. And what you did was you dressed up a pig if this doesn't work. He was drafted for what he was supposed to be. But the Eagles have dressed it up with great talent. You don't really know how good he is until some of those pieces are taken from him. Like you guys say, we're going to find out more about Josh Allen. I agree with that. 100%. We're going to find out a lot about Josh Allen this year. We are going to. Yes, I agree. Yes. You take some weapons away, will that team still be a 12-13 win team? If you took any component off that Eagle team, Hurts will win 8 games this year. Now, let me ask you. Let me go back to this. You got 50 days to training camp. Are you more concerned with Nick's and Jalen's relationship or Nick and Kellen Moore's relationship? How can you be high on the Eagles when that dynamic is still in the room? How can you be that high on that? That's like having a really fast race car and the worst driver in the field. How can you be and have optimism when you have the worst driver in the field? And this all circles around the head coach. Nick is friends with everyone. I don't want my coach to be friends with everyone. I've never been in a position where coaches were friends that won. Coaches are hard asses. Hey, I love my coach. But I'll tell you what, he cut me too. Can we blame Hurts? Hey, Xander, can we get that super chat up? I missed it. If we can, please, I want to get that super chat up. By the way, all super chats go to the top. Guys, we're trying to get to 200 likes. I appreciate it. So, Xander, when we get to that, or if you can, my friend, Xander might be busy. If you can repost it, I'll read it just to make sure that we get that there, because I want to make sure that we get that super chat, and I missed that super chat there. Oh, here we go. I can do it. Can we blame Hurts with 4 different systems in 5 years? Brady and Mahomes helped Purdy have the same system. Don't we have to look at that? Absolutely, my friend. Thank you, Xander. Don't we have to? Absolutely. You'll never get it, though, my friend. You're never going to get it. Swansky, you're never going to get it. He's had 5 coordinators in 4 years of starting going into this year. You're never going to get consistency at that coordinator position. Not until you hire a play calling head coach. You know who said this? Chris Long said this last year. He's right. He's right. You're getting another version of Hurts this year. Okay? I read it, Bob. I got it. You're right. Nick and Kellen's relationship will determine 24. How many OCs do we have to hire for Nick, who thinks he can run an offense? A car doesn't have 2 steering wheels. It surely does in a car. Relative. There were supposed to be 2 major intangibles that make Hurts valuable. Leadership, worried about that at this point. And coachability. This year with Moore, we'll certainly tell if that holds. You know what, too, relative? Dude, I'm going to say it one more time to you. That's right. Hurts 3.0. This is another version of Jalen. 95% of the offense is changed, which means this. Everything he's done in the last 3 years has pretty much been put aside or has been, get this, has been gobbled up by the new offense. Is that new terminology too? Everything they've done in the last 3 years with him is out the window. Everything. So what version are you getting? By the way, this is a question I don't know. I don't know, and I can't sit here and go, he'll never do it. But if you're going to try to make him a passer and not the guy you have in 22, Xander Krause said it the other day, and he's right. Why are you changing everything from what he was into being something he's not? Why are you doing that? What is the end game? They really think they can make him into like some sort of running 4,500 yard passing quarter. You can't. He's not that talented. The 22 version will get you to the Super Bowl. I don't get it. Eagle fans think AJ and Devontae are better than CD, and their O-line and run game are better than the Cowboys. Why did Dallas have a better offense? Better play caller. Better play caller. Tony Pollard is an underrated player. Their O-line, hey, 304, if you don't think you losing that center and Tyron Smith is a deal, look, I like the kid from K-State too. I think he's going to be an impact on your team. I totally do. But I don't know where you're going to get the balance in your offense from. And it ain't Ezekiel Elliott, and you got to get to the 20. What are you going to do from 20 to 20? Who's carrying the football? What kind of O-line do you have? You've got a better play call. Get this. Here's something, 304, that I will agree with. Mike McCarthy is a superior play caller to Kellen Moore. That's a fact. There is no getting around that. He's a better coach. He's a better OC. His offenses have proven that. And I agree with that. Mike McCarthy, okay, once again, Kellen Moore's been fired from his last 2 jobs. Okay? So just go here with this. All right. Let's get to here. Let's go to my takeaways from Nick Sirianni's mandatory minicamp. This is an overview. Have you changed your mind on Sirianni being out no matter what? Like I keep telling you. I don't know that yet. You forgot to add Dak being better than Hurts. Better passer. Oh, by the way, 304. This version of Jalen Hurts is better. It's not better than Dak. He's not. Because both had the same performances in the postseason, and Dak had a better year last year. Jalen Hurts did nothing better than Dak Prescott last year. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. And so the tie goes to the guy who won the division. He won the division last year. And he had a better passing season. Pretty much statistically across the board. And you can sit here, but you have no debate on that. You can't name one thing he did better. And rushing touchdowns don't matter in today's NFL passing. Quarterbacks in today's NFL don't win Super Bowls as running quarterbacks. They run when they have to, like Mahomes did in the Super Bowl in the 5th quarter. Those are facts. He had a better year a year ago, Dak Prescott. The year previous, Jalen had the better year. I mean, and if you want to go the last 4 years, I mean, pretty much out of 1 year, he had that one high turnover season. He's outplayed him from the pocket by far. He's a better pocket passer. He's a better pocket quarterback. Again, the postseason and all that, it matters. So by that take, Lamar's a bum. Lamar's never going to win a championship. Unless they coach him correctly. 37 passes, not going to cut it. 28 passes, and Derrick Henry going crazy, they'll win it. Let's see, again, if Todd Monken can control himself in an AFC title game. You're not going to beat Pat Mahomes throwing the ball against Pat Mahomes because he's going to beat you every night. You're not going to out Pat Mahomes. There's only one guy in this league that I think can out Pat Mahomes. That's the guy in Cincinnati. Only one guy, and it's him. So John Harbaugh's not a good coach. not doing much with his young two-time MVP in the NFL. Well, once again, he's losing to Patrick Mahomes and Joe Burrow in playoffs. You're losing to Baker Mayfield. And he's playing in a conference filled with legendary future. This is one of the best young eras I've ever seen for quarterbacks, and they're all in the AFC. They're not in the NFC. Who's the top quarterback in the NFC? Stafford? Dak? Who? Hurts? Go over to the AFC. It's sun and the moon conversation. It's not even close. You would not draft one quarterback from the NFC over the top 5 guys. Would you take him over Stroud? Would you take him over Burrow? Would you take him over Mahomes? Would you take him over Allen? Anybody with common sense would go, by the time you got to the top quarterback in the NFC, it'd be down at 6 or 7. I mean, Lamar. Is there anybody in the NFC that you would take over Lamar Jackson? No. Jalen or Jordan Love? I'll build my team around Jordan Love. He's got better skill set to pass the ball. How about this? You put Jordan Love in the Philly offense. What do you think that would look like? What do you think that would look like? All right, let's move on and go to the takeaways. I don't want to go down that road again. It bores me now. It bores me. Okay. So, replacing Fletcher Cox and Jason Kelce is going to be a bigger deal than I think. I think this is going to be a bigger issue. You don't have leadership on that team right now. I don't see it. I don't see it. Who? A.J. Owens? Who? Hurts? Yet had a chance for leadership this week. Didn't display it. Could have brought the team together, coach and roster. Couldn't do it. Or he didn't want to do it. I don't know. It's going to be pretty interesting to see who becomes the leader. Gardner Johnson? Maybe. Maybe. Brandon Graham? Can he lead from the second or third team? Probably a little bit. He's built a ton of equity up. He could probably say something. But once again, there was a guy that was in the room a year ago, didn't say nothing. Brandon Graham? Where was he a year ago, Rhonda? Quiet as a church mouse. Now he's barking over here telling us how shitty the coaching was last year. Thanks for telling us 6 months after the fact. Where were you in the middle of the season? Or are you not allowed to open your pie hole there because of Bob Lang and that PR department? Probably more the latter. I think that's going to be a glaring issue. Will the Eagles allow anybody to develop as a leader? Okay, will they? There you go, Anthony. I like that. I like that. Yes. Hey, Anthony, I'll tell you somebody else who's starting to show a little bit more. I'm starting to like Mulata's commenting on people. I am. I'm starting to like Mulata being more vocal. I think that's coming with his play and with his confidence that he's one of the best left tackles in the sport. I think that's coming with that. And I agree with you, Spin. I think Lane may be asked to do more vocally this year. You know, he's not a verbose dude. He's not going to start barking shit. That's not, at least from my observation, that's not who that guy is. But they may need a little of that. They may need that a little bit. Please, guys, hit the like button. Okay? Hey, Sills, let me finish here. I'll tell you something that I'm going to say something here. I heard Devin White talking about his mistakes that he made in Tampa. Did you see this, Xander? Did you guys see this? He talked about his mistakes and letting the football side of it diminish the love of the game. And he said he allowed it to get in the way, and the Bucs accused him of quitting on him. And he did quit on him. All the people I know in that organization said he quit on him. And he even admitted it, that he allowed the game. You're right, Prince. And he's admitted it. He allowed the game to get to him and not make the game fun for him. Him working on that contract. So I'll say this to you. You know what I would like to see Vic Fangio try to do a little bit more of? Hey, Prince, how about this? I'd like to see Vic Fangio, if you're going to need, thank you, Maniac. If you're going to need pressure, you know what I would say? Turn Devin White loose. Turn Devin White loose. Let him blitz from the linebacker position. Or come up with schemes like Jim Johnson did for Hugh Douglas. And let him and utilize his skill set. I think Vic's going to do a good job of that. White was graded in the last 4 years, JM, as one of the worst cover linebackers in pro football. That's not true. That's why the Buccaneers go out of their way to take shots at him. I say this, Prince, let him, okay, JM says false. Look it up, dude. It's there for you to look at too. Go look at what Pro Football Focus's cover ratios and ratings are for him. Zach Cunningham had a better year. He was top 3 in his Pro Bowl season 4 years ago. Congratulations to you, kid. Trotter Jr. was very good in coverage, but he's a 5th-round rookie. And I wouldn't look at the round that he's in. He's not very fast. Force, he ran a 4.8. 4.8 for linebacker is not going to be able to cover it in the National Football League. He's a special teams guy as of right now. Okay? Okay. So, come up with a way to create pressure using him. Moore has to be smarter in his motion. Because Jalen's not a great pocket quarterback. Help him. Move AJ into the slot. Motion more. Move the defense around. He can't. He's not, at this time in his career, capable of doing that. Young quarterback, that's not uncommon. Montana couldn't do it early in his career. They had to move Montana around. They rolled him right. I told you. They allowed him to do and manage only half the field for the first 6 years of his career. Who the hell is Jalen Hurts compared to Joe Montana? Okay, I mean, who's Jalen Hurts? Still true. Or if they pay the OC and or DC at head coach type levels, akin to Dallas when the triplets and you were there, that's how they kept DCs there until they finally the Bears got them. Correct. That's right, James. That's exactly correct. I mean, you end up paying those coordinators. Look at what they're doing with Spagnuolo, James, in Kansas City. They're paying them head coaching money. You want to hear something, James? Thanks, James, for that. That's cool. Hey, James, they're paying Steve Spagnuolo more money than Nick Sirianni makes. How's that for you? He makes more money than Nick Sirianni as head coach. That's why Spagnuolo doesn't have to go anywhere. He's a 4-time Super Bowl champion. I mean, can you imagine? You're not only getting the greatest coaching offensively from the head coach and Andy Reid, but you get to see quality defensive guys challenging you at every single practice, Monday through Saturday. What an education Patrick Mahomes is getting every single day. Patrick Mahomes is being made a better ball player every day because of the coordinator that's in the building on both sides of the football. Invaluable. Last year, you dicked around with Brian Johnson and Sean Desai. How much development do you think Hurts got during the year in his own yard at NovaCare with that bullshit compared to what Mahomes did? Mahomes grew. Jalen regressed because of the people around him. And you had all that talent, and it didn't matter. You see the difference? Coaching matters in the NFL. Talent matters in college. You don't have to be a spectacular head coach in college. You have to be a great recruiter. In the NFL, you have to be a great coach. Why don't the Birds steal plays from the Niners? Mad Bird, I think everyone steals that. I think everyone takes snippets of everybody's. Andy Reid said that numerous times that he does that. If he sees a play somewhere that somebody else is running, it's a copycat league. Okay? It's a copycat league. So they'll do variations of it. I mean, I know Belichick stole a lot of stuff from Saban when it came to moving players around. It was a wasted year. You wasted Jalen Hurts' development. You stunted it a year ago. Some of the other quarterbacks in the league Baker Mayfield got better. Hurts got worse. Baker Mayfield got better because of coaching. He was around better coaches. And if I'm not mistaken, wasn't the offensive coordinator in in Tampa? Isn't he now the Kalalis or whatever his name is? Isn't he a new head coach now in Carolina? So Baker Mayfield had Bruce Arians in the building, Todd Bowles in the building, and you had the head coach of Carolina Panthers in the building. No wonder Mayfield got a 3-year, $100 million deal. I mean, you shouldn't blame Brian Johnson for that shit, maniac. Blame Howie. Everybody, again, the two most protected people by the fan base and by the media in Philly is Jalen Hurts and Howie Roseman. I've never seen anything like it. Howie lit the place on fire, put it out. Now he's building it back up, and you want to give him credit and kudos and throw flowers at him for that. You fucked it up in the first place, guy. You were coming off a Super Bowl. And then you decided to light the building on fire. Look at Jay. Baker's garbage. He beat the shit out of your team. I mean, dude, this is about defending the Eagles, not Jalen Hurts. I could care less about him. Wasn't Dave Wanstead similarly all paid one of the highest coaches when he was in Dallas? Pretty sure has some Spags treatment. Nope, James, Jimmy Johnson on this program. James, when Jimmy brought that entire coaching staff from Miami to Dallas, who won 3 Super Bowls, they were the lowest paid coaches in the league. You know why? Jimmy goes, I'll replace your asses. The only coach that he cared about was Tony Weiss, the O-line coach. The rest of them are replaceable. They were the lowest paid coach. These are friends of his for 20 years. Okay? Told them all. But James, when they went to the Super Bowl and won it, he rewarded them. Jimmy makes you hungry. JM, Hurts will never be an MVP from the pocket, ever. Ever. Hurts, 22, is an MVP. That's 2 years ago now. Who is on the Howie knee pads more, Nick or the Philly media? Also, mark my words now, Big Sills. Kellen Moore will be the head coach after Nick is fired by week 7. We'll see. Here's another Big Sills takeaway. Are you sure Kenny Pickett is your backup? Are you comfortable with that? You all right? I'm all right with that, I think. Are you comfortable with it? Supposedly, Tyler McKee had a pretty good camp, pretty good 6 weeks. Coaches like him. Coaches like him. We've seen him in the pocket. Once again, Jason, what a stupid, uneducated observation. The reason he was good in the pocket in 22 is because he had 800 yards rushing and almost 200 carries. They're taking that away completely. He will never win one-dimensionally. He's not that good. Dual threat, he's a weapon. I'm not going to say it again. If you take Hurts' legs away, is he good enough to win you a Super Bowl? Ask yourself that. Ask yourself that. He's not. Here's something that I learned yesterday. Do not be shocked if Isaiah Rodgers is a starting corner on the other side of Slay early on. They really like the player. People are raving about him. They're talking up the young kids because they want to talk up the young kids. And the young kids performed well. Not saying they didn't. But they may be playing him, and he may earn a starting position at cornerback number 2. Okay? So that's a good sign. By the way, we're going to move Xander up in the rotation. He'll be there at the top of the 3 o'clock hour. Philly Godfather, 5:32. We'll hit him up. We said that. You said Isaiah who? One thing, Prince, until you prove yourself, you're meat. Stop doing that because you told me that Kobe Dean was going to be a superstar. So don't go there. I'm a prove it dude, not a hope dude. Like you and Nolan Smith. You still married to him, Prince? Prince, you still married to Nolan Smith? Yeah, go die on that vine. Here's something else that came out of camp. Is there a role for Will Shipley? Will Shipley caught the ball well, and the more from week 1 to the 6th week, people in the building kept saying he kept improving. Could there be a role for him? And this guy ended up taking snaps away from Kenny Gainwell. Okay, I mean, now again, we'll see how this plays out in the exhibition season and what they're going to do in the exhibition season and some of these controlled scrimmages, but also how they're going to implement him into the offense. And once again, it's all going to come down to the quarterback being able to utilize all these skill set people. I don't think he can. I don't think he has that aptitude to be able to spread the ball around to everybody in that huddle. I just do not. He couldn't do it a year ago. I never mentioned Dean or Smith. Nice try. Okay, great. Not you, of course. I'm sure you were a gigantic Jalen Hurts fan when they drafted him too. Micaiah Becton, guy's a player. Micaiah Becton looks like a player. Rodgers was rated a top 5 cornerback a season. When was this? He played sparingly when he was in Indianapolis. He showed signs of it. He was more special teams in Indy. Where are you getting that from? I like this guy, Mekhi Becton, and he wants to be a Philadelphia Eagle, and he wants it to be a long-term deal. He feels comfortable on that left side, but that thing's covered. So to me, you put him on that right guard spot. Let him play there. God, the money you can make if you're Mekhi Becton playing right guard. Can you imagine this? Playing right guard. Look at what Landon just signed for $20 million. You're in that Philadelphia Eagle offensive line and you're being coached by Jeff Stoutland, and you have the ability to be able to get extended. If you want to get a contract extension, you play right guard. They put him at right guard at 6'7", 6'7", 6'6", 6'6", 6'6", or 6'8". Across the top, wow. You guys, you got arguably one of the biggest offensive lines I've ever seen. Zach Bond looks like he is one of the starters inside. And Nakobe Dean has been relegated to second team. That's a good thing. I think they're moving on from him. This is the first sign that they're moving on from him. I think that Bond is the starter. And I think he's the solidified starter. There's not going to be, and get this, here's another check mark at linebacker for Howie. You didn't go after anybody in free agency, really, and you can't draft him. This will be the second, third round linebacker. If this guy gets whacked, that would have been cut in the last 5 years in Philly that Howie drafted. It's time to put that away, guy. You're not good at it. Do you think wide receiver 3 is currently on the roster? Great question, Jameson. Yeah, I do, Jameson. I do. I do think he is. I like the kid Smith, man. Play him. Play some of these young guys, especially in that 3-hole. Especially in that 3-hole, man. Get it. Dude, you got to get more production out of that. Hunter Renfrow at wide receiver 3. I like that, man. Hey, Mark, he's available too. I like that. Having him at wide out 3. I'd rather, get this. Hey, Mark, I'd rather have Hunter Renfrow at wide receiver 3 than Odell Beckham Jr. How about this one? Nick Sirianni's the biggest question. He's the biggest question in this offseason and going into the upcoming year. I think he's a bigger question than a quarterback. He's just a bigger question. I have more faith in Jalen Hurts than Nick Sirianni. But can you imagine this? How many times do you have to do this? Oh, my God, I hope the football team doesn't get sabotaged again by the head coach. Weren't we saying this about Brandon Staley? That's who he reminds me of. He reminds me of Brandon Staley now. You're like, the guy's a buffoon. Going for it on 4th down with a minute left in the ball game and you got the lead and you're going for it on 4th down? What's wrong with you? This guy's like Brandon Staley. I mean, and of course, you turn around and you go like this. Okay, so it's June 7th. And I'll ask the question one more time. Jalen Hurts, brand new offense. And on the 6th of June, he really said he doesn't know what he's doing yet. Are you concerned with that? And they haven't even put the offensive running game in. They haven't even put all the playbook in. And he doesn't know what he's doing. And this is the passing game that you guys say he's so great at. Are you concerned when a guy who has half the playbook It's a passing camp. See, John McMullen, who was on with Xander on Birds 365. Hey, they really haven't even put all the. That's right. Half the playbooks in, you got a quarterback saying, I'll let you know when I figure it out, because right now, do you like the offense? I'm not sure. They haven't even put the offense in, all of it. They haven't even started hitting yet, and he doesn't know what he's doing. He's got 50 days to camp. You're a month and 3 weeks out from training camp, and he don't know what he's doing. In the passing game, what's the run game going to look like? Kellen Moore's not known for being a running head coach. Are you going to have a lot? Are you going to? One thing I agree with John on. Hey, the O-line is the strength of the team, not the receivers. The strength of the team is the O-line. Thank you, James. It's awesome. Not sure if you saw Shady and even Brady had problems first in Tampa, reverting to verbiage from New England, even in camp, until Arians adjusted 60%. That's the same plays with different language. It's harder with new plays. That's James. I brought this up yesterday. One of the things, James, that made that Super Bowl run that Brady, remember they were 7-5, I said. And Arians, there was a lot of turnovers earlier in the season when they were having all those turnovers. If you remember right, they had all those turnovers. And what happened? Brady went in and he said, we got to start going to checkdowns. And without a doubt, what did they do? They went to checkdowns. They went to Leonard Fournette more. They threw more to the tight end. They took a little bit of what Arians had, and then they did more of what they did in New England, and they went on to win a Super Bowl. Okay? Slager goes, whoever on 365 said this morning that they were trying stuff to see if Hurts liked and what he didn't like. Jalen Hurts said out of his mouth the entire offense is 95% new. That's not what that quarterback said. So some guy having an opinion on it is one thing. The quarterback saying when asked, what do you make of the new offense? Well, 95% of it's new. Who are you believing? Hey, dude, no disrespect to anybody, but I don't give a shit what a scribe says when a quarterback comes out and says the 95% of the offense is new. The quarterback said that. They're trying things out new? No shit. It's a new offense. The QB said it. I mean, the QB said it. They're not going back to running Nick's offense or having anything to do with Nick's offense. The quarterback said it. Take the word of the QB and not a scribe. You kidding me? Right. Holy cow. You got to be kidding me. So Jalen Hurts is lying. So Jalen Hurts is lying that it's a brand new offense. There's all kinds of stories now coming out that 95% is new. But they're trying new shit. No shit. The QB said it's a new O. Gotta be kidding me. You gotta be kidding me. Holy Maron. What did you guys take away from this week? Let's do this here. Let's do this. Quarterback hates the coach, doesn't trust him. He doesn't know if he likes the offense yet. The defensive coaches are connecting with their guys. Thank you, Miami Dolphin dudes. guys did a great job for Vic, made his job easier. That thing looks pretty good over there. I think Vic outcoached Kellen Moore the entire 6 weeks. Coached the pants off the guy. Got his guys in a better position to succeed. Evaluated. Dude, I'll tell you this. There's more of a. How in the world can you struggle in offensive passing camp? Because the quarterback can't get it done? Wait till they haven't even put the offense in, all of it, with the run game. Hey man, I'm not gonna sit here and dissect what a quarterback says when asked questions. Hey Nick, how about this one, guys? Hey JM, defend this. Hey Jalen, what's Nick Sirianni's role? I really don't know. I can't answer that. What do you make of that, dude? What do you make of that? This whole week, put it in a nutshell. What'd you learn? Get this. Oh, it's good to see LJ because isn't it great to see that a quarterback can't stand Nick Sirianni? His guy hates him. Even the IP guys are starting to get on it now. Hates him. That's his boy. The quarterback of the Philadelphia Eagles won't support or validate the OC or the head coach. 2 things I take away from Jalen this week. He's not sure about the OC, and he's surely not sure about the coach. Didn't you take that away? He was asked explicitly, what's your takes on the offense? Too early to tell yet. What's Nick's role? I don't know. Those were direct comments from your QB this week. Were they not? Yes to Nick. Prince, he said he doesn't know if he likes the offense yet. I listened to it again. Hey, get this, like this guy says. You could be sitting in a tree house, or you could be sitting in a bird's house. You could be sitting in an outhouse. All you got to do is listen to the quarterback say, I don't like the coach, and I don't know if I like the offense. What's Nick's role? I don't know. If you don't think that this is a massive problem that resonated and reared its head in 23, it has not been eradicated in 24. It's the same disease that's in your locker room, and it will infect it again because it's still in it, no matter how good you are, no matter how good your roster is. The cancer's still in the locker room. And the quarterback's telling you it. I don't care if you have the greatest roster on the planet. If you have something inside of a locker room, like Terrell Owens, a disgruntled player, an incompetent coach, an incompetent quarterback, in key positions, no matter how good you are, it will implode. That's why the Eagle front office panicked. See, they're caught in a tough place. I like that headline. Xander, did you see that headline Inquirer had that Nick's in a pretty tough position right now because the quarterback's not supporting him? Isn't that something? $50 million a year, $250 million quarterback doesn't support LJ's coach. Even the Inquirer now is jumping on that. You're welcome. Even they're seeing it. And you got 50 days until training camp. And the quarterback is saying, I'm not sure what we're doing yet, but we'll get there. Okay? Right? That was my takeaway. Hey, by the way, on a good note, as I said to you, holy shit, great on the defense. More encouraged about that side of the ball. Absolutely. I'm not encouraged at all about Nolan Smith. The Kobe Dean's a waste of time. And Bradbury on the roster is a waste of time. Bradbury's a waste of time. I have no idea what they're doing with that. None. Nolan Smith is a waste of time right now. So, but the communication looks good in the secondary. And you know what's really cool to watch that I'm liking here is that everyone's enjoying themselves communicating and picking up the defense, and they like the way that they're being coached. All the things that the people in Miami were saying, as a matter of fact, I sent the message to Armando Salguero, who covers the Miami Dolphins for Outkick and is a Hall of Fame voter. And I said this, you want to know why you guys are soft down there in Miami? Is because that coach runs a soft environment. They're not a very tough-minded team. They don't practice toughness. Dude, you have to practice toughness. Man, if you're not in a fist fight every day, scraping and crawling and doing everything you can to win a game, and you're just going about your business being a finesse team, you will get your faces kicked in. They don't fight for anything in Miami. They just think they're good because they're Tyreek Hill. Okay? Hey, once again, you see people like LJ getting mad at me for quarterback's comments. I didn't say these things. This guy's just got an ass for me on my takes. That's too bad, dog. It's really too bad you feel that way. You got a lot of people I wouldn't say a lot. You got about 2 or 3 people or what have you in Philadelphia that go after messengers instead of going after organizations. Stop blowing Jalen and Howie. This is about the Eagles winning the Super Bowl. It's not about winning 11 games or winning the East even. This is about championship talk. What do you think I'm talking about? Going to the Sun Bowl? $10-1. You know, every time I knew there were some people in here that subscribed to mediocrity or half stories or half truths. Got to tell the whole story. It's like part of our country. They like to hear half the bullshit and all the good shit. Want to hear what made us great. All right. Moving our boy up in the rotation here. So Mariano's got to come in instead of in the 9th inning. Mariano Rivera's got to come in the 8th inning here. And we got to bring our boy who's doing this spectacular